What's up, everybody? My name is Simon Hill. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, share this video, and let's get to it. So today I want to talk about something that usually I haven't spoken about before on my channel, but it's related to a lot of things that I'm interested in. And this is going to be a bit of a departure, but I'm going to react to this article about tattoos being illegal in South Korea and what's happening underground. I haven't read the article in advance, so I'm going to react to this live as I read this. And I'm interested in tattoos. I love tattoos. I have quite a few. As you can see, I got this angel fighting a demon here. Oh, it looks really nice in this light. Yeah, that looks really nice in this light. I also have the same idea on this arm. Right, this is a picture of an angel fighting a demon. See the angel right here fighting the demon right here. I also have some angels on my shoulders, top billion on my chest, universal flag on my chest, etc., etc. But I really want to read about this, and I find this interesting because literally yesterday I was teaching a class about tattoos with one of my students, and my student told me that in South Korea, tattoos were illegal, and I had no idea that that was actually the case. I did not know that at all. And then I go on New York Times, and the first thing I see is tattoos still illegal in South Korea. What a coincidence. That's so weird. Well, let's get to it. This is a picture here. It says Kim Do-yoon, a tattoo artist who founded a tattoo labor union at his studio in Seoul. Picture by Chang W. Lee, the New York Times. So the title of this article is Tattoos Still Illegal in South Korea, Thrive Underground. Tattoo artists, long treated as criminals for their work, say that it is time to end the stigma against their business. So May 13th, 2022 is when this was published and updated at 11:50 a.m. Eastern Time. Seoul. In a serene plant-filled studio paneled with large windows, Kim Do-yoon, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, gives tattoos to clients who visit him in South Korea from around the world for his fine line work. A diaphanous octopus with its tentacles unfurled, a delicate wildflower sweeping over a forearm, a portrait of a beloved pet to last forever. So he sounds like he does many different types of work. Mr. Kim, known as Doi, is a favorite of celebrities, including Brad Pitt and the actress Han Ye-seul, but he works discreetly. I'm sure being a celebrity tattoo artist has to be like top 5 jobs in the world. That's got to be like one of the coolest jobs. You get to travel, meet celebrities, put tattoos on them. You know, that's cool. That's a cool job. There is no sign advertising his studio, nestled in a nondescript building in north central Seoul, near a palace that dates back to the 14th century. He screens customers carefully, rolls the blinds down during appointments, and moves his shop about every 2 years. So it sounds like it's really underground. Sounds like he has to take a lot of precautions to not get in trouble with the law. In South Korea, his art is a crime. Under a ruling that has been in place since 1992, tattooing without a medical license can result in fines of up to $40,000 or even imprisonment. Opponents of decorative tattoos have invoked concerns about long-standing associations with organized crime, as well as fears about inadequate hygiene and potential harm inflicted by tattoo artists who they say lack adequate skills. What my student told me last night, the student said that in Korea, tattoos are illegal because the government there views the needle as a medical instrument, and because tattoo artists are not medical doctors, they are not allowed to do medical procedures. I also probably assume they mention criminal gangs. You know, the Yakuza are famous for having tattoos all over their body, and maybe the triads as well. So in these Asian countries, maybe this is the reason why they have such a big taboo, right? Attempts to overturn this ban have repeatedly failed. In March, the Constitutional Court in Seoul reaffirmed the tattoo industry's illegality in a 5-4 ruling. South Korean tattoo artists and customers believe that the ruling is at odds with reality, citing drastically changed social norms that have fostered a thriving underground industry, greater openness and acceptance of tattoos, and rising international demand for what are known as K-tattoos. K-pop, K-tattoos, my God. The Asians are just going through a renaissance right now. The South Korea, salute to you guys. So South Korea is out of control. They are just dominating everything. Media, tattoos, music. Man, they're going out of control. So here's Mr. Kim, the tattoo artist, says he screens customers carefully and takes extra precautions to work covertly under the ban on tattooing in South Korea. Picture by Chang W. Lee. While tattoos have grown in acceptance in most parts of the world, exceptions include several Islamic countries. By the way, I want to note, here in Turkey, where I'm filming this video, I've seen many tattoos, and I also did a class on tattoos with another student, not the one who told me about Korea being banning a place where tattoos are banned. One of my other students told me that in Chile, where he's from, they have a lot of tattoos, but I looked it up online, and Turkey is actually one of the top countries in the world that has tattoos. And you see it out in the streets. I see a lot of people with tattoos. They look like jailhouse tattoos, a lot of them. Some of them are really nice, but a lot of them are like really small. Some on the hands, neck, real jailhouse stuff. Anyway, South Korea remains one of the few where the artists are treated as criminals. Tens of thousands of them work in secret here under constant threat of exposure to law enforcement. Of working covertly under the ban, Mr. Kim, 41, said, "It's been so long, it's almost funny." Wow. So if doing tattoos is illegal, does that mean everybody who has tattoos then is a criminal? Because it's like the South Korean law is fulfilling the prophecy. Anybody who gets a tattoo must be a criminal, so we will make them illegal. So once they're illegal and people still get them, are they now criminals? Are they now like the people you tried to stop? This is silly. This is funny, though. I didn't know this. So So-yeon Lim, a 38-year-old tattoo artist trainee in Seoul, said that the medical license requirement didn't make any sense. "No one's trying to go to medical school to become a tattoo artist," she said. Hidden in plain sight. Tattoo artists say that the industry in Korea has exploded over the past decade. In Seoul, it is hidden in plain sight. Tattoo artists tend to rent upper floor office spaces across the city, especially in Hongdae, an art-centric neighborhood. It's easy to find artists as long as you know where to search. Instagram, of course, everything's on the gram, right? There's just so many amazing artists in Korea, and social media allows you to pick through them, and they're easy to access, Miss Lim said. Social media has also spread trends like the K-tattoo, a term describing the detailed illustration-inspired tattoos that have become synonymous with Korean artists. The K-tattoo has created a new surge of consumers, Mr. Kim said. So if you have your own style, you have your own artistic expression, of course people are going to want it. And looking at this guy, this is rapper Jay Park. His sleeve is sick. That is a very slick sleeve. Sick sleeve. It's slick too, yeah. It looks really good. Looks good on him. So top stars in South Korea, including Jungkook of the K-pop boy band BTS, the rapper Jay Park, and the singer Hyun-ae. I'm butchering these names. BTS fans, K-pop hive people, please don't crucify me for these names, have made tattoos more visible by displaying them when possible, helping to cultivate a youth culture more enamored of them. That's interesting. So the getting tattoos is illegal in South Korea, but their biggest stars have them. So I wonder how the government feels about that, because I know, K-pop is if not funded by the government, from my understanding, is tacitly supported by the government, because K-pop has been such a big soft power in the world. I wonder how the government feels about that. They're big stars. But then again, I saw BTS perform at the Grammys, and even though they were wearing suits, I don't think any of them had tattoos. Those are some pretty girls. Mr. Park's first tattoo, which he got a decade ago, was a homage to his breakdancing crew. He has since lost count of the number of tattoos he has gotten, he said. Whenever somebody asks me how many tattoos I have, I literally have to think. My number is 7 or 8. I literally have to think. But they're all up here on my chest, and I could easily count them. I don't have anything too small, right? Anyway. It was a shock to a lot of people at first, Mr. Park, 35, said. But as time went on and my career started to progress, I started to win people over despite my tattoos. And they started thinking it was cool. Yeah. But he said there were some brands that likely viewed his tattoos as a liability, and that he, along with other stars, had to cover them when appearing on Korean TV. Last June, a Gallup poll surveying more than 1,000 South Korean adults found that more than half favored legalization. The results reflected a clear generation gap. 81% of respondents in their 20s were in support, compared with 60% of those in their 40s. This reminds me a lot about what's happening in the States right now with Roe v. Wade, which is the case about abortion rights. And the vast majority of Americans say that Roe v. Wade or abortion rights should be legal. It should be legal to get an abortion in the States. But a small minority of people who have very large influence in the government are pushing in the direction of making it generally illegal, or at least giving the states the option to make it illegal in a state, right? So this goes to show sometimes democracy has essential flaws in it, where the will of the people is not answered by the elected representatives or the institutions that support them. Because I'm sure if we really had every South Korean vote on whether tattoos should be legal to get, I'm sure that law would pass. I'm very sure, based on what they said in the Gallup poll, if they asked every person to vote, and there are countries where there is mandatory voting, these tattoos would be legal. But, you know, unfortunately, democracy is an imperfect system, right? Anyway, a centuries-old stigma. The oldest recorded tattoos belong to a European man, now nicknamed Otzi, who lived 5,300 years ago, researchers say. They have found that ancient cultures used tattoos for varying purposes: decoration, protection, and punishment. When I lived in Tunisia, one of the funniest things about North African Berber culture or Amazigh culture is that the women used to get face tattoos. And I heard many different stories about why the women got face tattoos. Now, my first wife, who was Tunisian, she showed me a picture of her grandmother, literally her grandmother, right? And her grandmother had face tattoos that made her look like Young Thug. I swear to God, this is not a lie. And I asked her why, you know, and she told me that they, in the Amazigh culture, if a woman ever ran away, got lost, kidnapped, or something like that, the people would search for her and ask the other people, have you seen the woman with the teardrop on her eye? Have you seen the woman with the, you know, this mark on her forehead and this and this and this? That was interesting to see that. And I guess tattoos have various purposes. I get my tattoos for aesthetic purposes and remembrance. Probably the most important one to me says "Rest in peace, George Anthony Way" on my arm, and it's dedicated to a friend who took his life many years ago. But it's interesting, the history of tattoos. So in South Korea, tattoos called munshin have long had negative associations. During the Koryo dynasty, which ruled from 918 to 1392 AD, people were forcibly given tattoos on their faces or arms, listing the crimes they had committed or marking them as slaves. The punishment, the step before the death penalty, left tattooed people as outcasts living on the fringes of society. It was eliminated in 1740. That's an interesting history. Didn't know that. And of course, everybody knows the story about the Jews getting tattooed when they went into the concentration camps. I didn't know that happened in Korea as well. Learned something new today. In the 20th century, tattoos were adopted by gangs inspired by Japanese customs, renewing body ink as a physical emblem of criminality. Several modern tattoo artists in South Korea said they had deliberately moved away from menacing images like dragons and Japanese imagery often requested by gangsters. San Lee, who works in Seoul near Apugyeon Rodeo, I butchered that, an area known for trendy stores, said that she intended to show that tattoos weren't just related to certain types of people, but that they were fashionable. Okay. San Lee, a tattoo artist working at her studio in Seoul. Shout out to all the women tattoo artists out there. My first tattoo was done by a woman. She did the star, the universal flag of the 5%ers on my chest. She did a great job, even though it hurt like hell. She was very professional, very nice. Getting a tattoo from Miss Lee at her studio. She looks like she's praying. No, oh, this girl is praying for help. Oh, she's getting a tattoo. She's getting that needle in her skin. Ooh, that's a nice wolf, though. Art that Miss Lee tattooed onto one of her clients, Chang W. Lee, The New York Times. All right, so Miss Lee inside her office at her studio in Seoul. Chang W. Lee, The New York Times. Ain't that a baddie? Ain't that a baddie? Why do no, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. Caught myself. Anyway, customer requests have also shifted, Mr. Kim said. All right. When I started, people wanted tattoos to look braver, he said. Now they want beautiful things. a long campaign for legalization. Mr. Kim is the founder of a 650-member tattoo labor union that advocates rights of artists. That's good. Unions for all jobs. Every job, every occupation should be able to unionize. Legalization will create safer, more sanitary environments for both customers and artists, he said. Tattoo artists often meet clients alone and trust strangers to keep their secret. Female artists are particularly vulnerable to sexual violence. In the past, the police have conducted sweeps rounding up artists, Miss Lee said. Rival shops have been known to flag artists to the police. Since what we're doing is illegal, we're in the blind spot, she said. Because of that, there are many people that are exploiting the situation. The number of tattoo artists has multiplied over the past decade, fueling competition for clients. Apro Lee, based in a city an hour north of Seoul, said he had traveled the world for most of his career because his bold work inspired by Korean folk art was more in demand abroad. That's cool. Once again, tattoo artists, celebrity tattoo artists probably had the coolest job, but it's probably super hard to get into it. You know, you have to have real talent. You have to be able to get people to trust you with their skin. Not everybody's going to be an idiot like me and walk in the shop one day and leave the next day with a, half sleeve. Not everybody's going to be like that. It takes a lot of talent and hard work to do it. So that's why I respect tattoo artists. Apro Lee, a tattoo artist at his studio, he said he had traveled the world for most of his career because his work was more in demand abroad. Once again, the world is changing, Mr. Lee said. 40. He's 40 years old. Then why are we behind? Let's move. Others like Lee Dong-kyo, 37, have left Korea altogether. He goes by Q and is now based in Los Angeles, getting them US dollars. Yeah. So, we are not wrong. Tattooing is not wrong, but it is illegal and that feels awful, he said. I love my job. I'm proud of myself, but I cannot open up. Here I feel free. Feels so much better for work, but at the same time, it's not my country. Sang-hyuk Ko, or Mr. K, one of the most sought-after tattoo artists in the United States, who is known for his ultra-detailed work, said bluntly that he would have never made it as far if he hadn't left Seoul. In America, it's different. They respect artists, Mr. Ko 41 said. And of course, I mean, tattoos are just widespread in America. I've seen it in my lifetime, how tattoos have exploded. Probably in my lifetime, I'm a part of that generation that witnessed tattoos become mainstream and also witnessed, general people get them, have them, and the stigma slowly dissipate. I remember when, a lot of celebrities didn't have them. I remember when it was hard to find tattoo artists. I remember what that was like in the States, at least. I don't know about any other place in the world, but I saw over time, generally, the tattoo barriers got broken down. All right. Ri-ho Ho-jeong, a member of the National Assembly in South Korea who helped introduce the bill last summer to legalize tattooing, said that the Constitutional Court's narrow ruling to uphold the ban signaled change for an art industry that the world loves. All right. So this is Mr. Lee doing his tattoo work in the shadows, in the dark. Oh my gosh. You could at least turn on the lights. I know what you're doing is underground, Mr. Lee, but at least turn on the lights. But then again, I'm just being facetious. I'm sure he knows what he's doing. He looks like a top level, top tier artist. Tattooing is a boon for the South Korean economy, Miss Ryu said by email. She said she would keep pushing for legalization until the tide of public opinion shifted further. Customers are waiting too. Kim A-min, a 38-year-old teacher in Dongducheon, has tattoos that he says are intended to honor his values. One arm is covered with various masterpieces by Shakespeare. He's in the process of getting a back tattoo of Venus, inspired by his wife. Aw, that's so nice. He seldom exposes his tattoos, aware that others might not view his ink as art. I can't wait for the moment where people feel safe or free to show their tattoos and express their feelings through tattoos, he said. I am hopeful. Ji-yeon Lee contributed reporting. So let's go back to the top. I think, once again, governments around the world need to get out of people's lives, stop dictating what we can and can't do with our bodies. And I think this story reminds me a lot about the time that I was teaching English online to Koreans, right? I got to speak to Korean people a lot, and I I had the impression that they're a very interesting group of people. Their worldview is very interesting. Their personalities are very interesting. They're very I don't know how to say this. I don't know how to say this in the right way. They're very jovial people. Uh, very sarcastic. They can find humor in interesting places. They're not as uptight as people assume Asian cultures are. I know on the outside in the Western world, we sort of have this view of Asian society as being a bit, rigid, culturally conforming, not a lot of eclecticism or free expression. But the Koreans that I spoke to, and of course I'm getting a certain segment of people who are learning English. Of course, this is like a more educated, upper class, worldly group of people. But talking to these people made me really have a lot of love for them. I love the Korean people. They're cool. They're cool with me. All people are cool with me, but especially the Koreans. They're interesting. And I want to say that, Korea, if anybody in government listens to me or is watching this, whatever, legalize the tattoos. Let the people put the ink on their body. Everybody should be able to get a dumb tattoo once in their life. They should have the right. Do what you want with your bodies. People, be safe and be free. Thank you for watching this channel. My name is Simon Hill. Hit the like button, subscribe, share this video, and peace.